first place finisher at each of these events gets 100 points, which I guess is going to be 11 times 11. And then we got the second place gets 80 points, third place 65 points, fourth place 50 points.
And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Wait, take shape, look back here. There, one short and once again, if it does not want to let that spot go. But can he get the roll? He did! And on his side, he did again, what a read! That's quick, one stop away to 3:11. Oh my god. Valhalla, baby! There, shine. Okay, hold big too slow for Nathan, unfortunately. This quick moment. On the edge. Can he do it? Can he do it? He did it! The lottery! Oh, what's the lottery in a row? What's going on?
This shows how far we've climbed, even if we haven't quite reached it.
We all agree. It's pushing us strong moment.
No game for Nathan.
I kept it together. I fucking did it. I now just have to do it IRL and against him on controller. I have to do it against him when he's playing on controller and IRL.
Go for it. Go on the upset.
Yeah, hello everyone, this is Kone. Kone's Academy is partnered with the S.A.M.E circuit, and for every circuit event, we'll be offering one-to-one coaching services as prizes.
You may be the next Pipsqueak. You may be the next Pipsqueak.
Imagine. Welcome everyone to our second S.A.M.E panel. I'm your host again, Kone. I'm the head TO of the Air series, and I'm also the owner of Kone's Academy. As well as that, I'm a long-term community member of both the UK and the EU community. In today's live stream, I'm going to be talking to our panelists again, and we'll be reviewing last weekend's first event in the S.A.M.E series, the S.A.M.E circuit, which was Valhalla Online. Before we go any further, I would like you to just remind you of what the circuit is all about, and let's have a little dive into the 12 events. So last weekend, we had the lovely Valhalla Online. Coming up in the end of February, we have Poilon Software and his team presenting The Upset. I'm sure you've all seen that delightful frog in their trailer. Get registering all. In March, we've got Phoenix Blue Online, followed shortly by the UK team Region, hosting Region Online in April. And then we move over to Scandinavia, and we have our Finnish TOs hosting Sona Online in May. Third weekend of May, you'll find all S.A.M.E events on the third or final weekend of each month. We then move back to the UK in June, and we have the Fate team hosting Fate Online, followed shortly after by Super Boo Online, our Spanish TOs, the Boo team, hosting an online version of their famous summer event, leading into Air Online in August, which my team will be presenting to you all. September, we head over to Ireland, and we've got the Schism, or Schism, however you pronounce it. I hear it said so many different ways. Team who are now presenting us Chai Lock. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Chai Lock. Yes. Supposedly, I've just been whispered in my ear that I nailed it. Okay. October, we have Bagar. I hope I pronounced that correctly, by the PSG team, the Paris Smash Gang. And then our final event is hosted by the TOs of the Melee side of Syndicate and DreamHack Rotterdam, okay, led by Knuckles, which is the Dutch TOs, and that is Somnio. And last but not least, we'll be going into our final event, which will be announced later on, where we'll see the best singles, best doubles, and best crew teams battle it out, okay? Let's move on, and let's have a little look at what our next event actually is in February. And here it is, the upset. I've already mentioned that delightful frog. I hope you've all seen the trailer. You will be seeing it again. But the upset is by the Poilon software team. That is Poilon, Raoul, and the rest of the gang. Okay, this is going to be another superb event. I believe we've got volleyball, singles, not doubles, which is a bit I've lost the word. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that later. I don't know. I would have leaned towards doubles, but we've got volleyball in there. We've got singles, doubles. Doubles for the first time is entering the circuit, and that will be in every event going on. And there will be a double circuit, points for doubles, and top 8 teams actually qualify for the finale. And other than that, I think we are ready to welcome our panelists for the day. Let me introduce them. First off, joining us again, and now a entrenched member of our team, we have Maye. Maye was... Oh, he's already jumped in there. I haven't even given you your...
I thought you did, but never mind. Go for it.
Come on. Maye ranked 28th in Europe in 2019, number 1 in France, with the top 3 morphs in Europe. Hello, Maye.
Hello, Ed. How you doing?
Oh, where's the French? We got a bit of French before, didn't we?
Mais si tu veux, on l'a fait en français à chaque fois, il n'y a pas de problème. Moi, c'est la même chose pour moi. Du coup, salut, comment tu vas? La classique.
Sounds lovely. No idea what it said. I hope it was...
Yeah, it was not nice, but yeah.
Next, joining us again, another entrenched long-term member of the team, I would hope, is Jim Morrison. Jim is ranked 4th in the Netherlands, is the crew captain of the Netherlands team throughout all the same circuit, and had a cheeky good result this weekend. Say hi, Jim.
Fakka Koon broertje, hoe is het met jou?
Lovely. Hi.
How you doing?
Next, we've got Mo. Mo joining us again, 30th in Europe in 2019, number 1 in Denmark, best DK in the world. Hi, Mo.
Det er rigtig sandt, og god aften, venner. Jeg er glad for at være her. And thank you for letting me join this.
Yeah. And then we've got a new member to the panel. Nikki has sadly flaked royally on the panel. So we have another German counterpart. Some might say better. Ooh. We've got Rix joining us today. Rix is ranked 9th in Germany in 2019. Getting a bit dated, I know. The whole point of the circuit is to try and get us some more accurate rankings this year. And he actually had a good result at the weekend, which we'll chat about, which was 13th in singles. Say hi, Rix.
Yo, guys, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Where's the German? I got a bit of Danish, Dutch, and French.
Ein bisschen Sauerkraut, ein bisschen Bratwurst und ein bisschen
I recognize the word in
a
there.
little bit there are, but we can do it.
Lovely. And lastly, joining us today, Unhaven is still a member of the panel, but has sadly had some family circumstances come up. So we have the delightful R23 joining us. R23 is basically the top 10 gatekeeper in the UK. Okay, ranked 10th currently and 41st in Europe. Say hi, R23.
Hello. Tagging in for Unhaven. See if I'm up to the task. Maybe not as charming, but try my best, Ed. I'll try my best for you.
Oh, don't put yourself down. You are a lovely, charming member of Team Air as well. We should shovel that in there. Ooh.
Of course.
Oh, okay. So I think, panel, we're going to have a look at crews first. We'll have a little bit of a deep dive on each crew match. And then we'll move into singles. So it should be about 40 minutes, I hope, of each. And that'll be it for our review panel. Are we all excited?
Very.
Hell yeah.
Very much so.
Should we also announce that we have a special prize, maybe?
Oh, go on then, Jim.
After we discussed all the crews, we're also going to announce the MVP of the month. So the player with the most impressive result regarding crews specifically will get their own slide. We will
Nice.
say congrats.
Everyone's kind of like eagerly awaiting what the prize is going to be there. It's
A picture.
slide. You might get a naughty tweet. Oh, a naughty tweet. Right. Shays, hit us with the first crew match.
Yeah. What can we say?
Oh, wait a minute. Shays, can we have the slide that has the actual breakdown for me, please, if possible? Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Okay, so we've got Scotland versus Netherlands. This felt a little bit lopsided. What do we think? I'm going to throw it straight over to the panel. Let's have some analysis.
Go on, Jim.
Yeah, you want me to start? I'm kind of biased there.
I mean, I can start if you want.
Yeah, so what happened here, basically, just from my point of view, is we had AMSA did show up, which was not even required in the end, but we had choices from 2 heavy hitters, and we said, well, we want to keep one for the back, and we'll start with one. Yapi opens up, he takes 8 stocks as like the first person to play in the whole same circuit, takes 8 stocks, and there's no chance for Scotland to ever win it. No chance. The moment Yapi came swinging out of the gate.
There was a little bit of a Scottish upset, though, wasn't it, at the beginning of Yapi versus Shifting? Did you catch that?
What was it? Yeah. Oh, that upset. You mean like that stock should even be there, or?
Oh no. So they started playing Shifting against Yapi, and Shifting had the edge in the neutral. Now this wasn't particularly long; they hadn't lost a stock, and then Yapi had started with 4 stocks where he should have started with 2, and then he suicided to try and get his stocks down, and it just seemed a bit messy.
Okay, no, the way that it happened, Yapi just forgot that he had to suicide, so they just immediately played their stock, and the moment that Yapi lost the stock and Shifting Shadows lost the stock as well, I think, he just realized it, but they just kept playing, and we had to sort of, everyone in the chat, especially a specific Scottish player, was very upset that this happened.
Just name it. It was fuzziness, yeah.
Of course, it was fuzziness. Yeah, he was very upset that this happened and that Yapi didn't SD the moment. He should have SD'd because they restarted the game right after he had already lost the stock. So I had to come in and like, okay, Yapi, did you actually not realize it until after the stock? He did not. So then was my fair play, just died.
Yeah, I don't think there's any bad play. Yapi is such a lovely gentleman. I would not expect.
Yapi would never grime a person.
Any other thoughts, panel, on this matchup?
I think
yeah,
sorry,
go for it. I was just going to say we didn't shout out Renzo, but he did an even better job than Yap. He took, I think, was 10 or 11? 10, right? 10 stocks. And that was just a beautiful performance.
So that was, he took 4 from Time Muffin, 4 from Fuzziness, if I'm reading this correctly, and 2 from Fade, which is pretty damn impressive.
It's solid. Yeah, for sure.
Are we surprised the Scots didn't put up more of a fight here?
No. Yeah, I think.
Wait a minute. Sorry, go on. So I'm going to throw it to R23 first. Go on.
I think this is like a key example of like what you saw in a lot of the closer crew battles. People trying to sort of like go, oh, Yappy's only got 2 stocks left. We'll put Shifting in or whatever. When you should be putting like if they put Time Muffin in like straight away, just to be like, okay, let's get rid of Yappy's stocks with our best player because Yappy's their second best player. It could have been a lot better, but because like you try to save some stocks by playing maybe like your second or third best player, it just gets out of control. Like Jim said, like after Yappy took all of Shifting stocks, there was no way back.
You don't think that's a gamble worth going for? Because I think in one of the crews, specifically England versus Finland, they went for the other way around, the other strategy, and it did not pay off at all.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, I was just thinking because the same thing happened in the Ireland Sweden one. So
yeah, I think this is something that we can definitely analyze as we go on, which is when you've got that strong start, okay, and there's some momentum building behind a team, and Yappy's a scary player anyway, and even worse when he's got a bit of confidence behind him, which he clearly got here. I think there is too many times when like crews are reading it as, oh, they've only got 2 stock left, and they don't want to gamble on playing a better player. And I think there's some clear instances throughout this last weekend's crew matches where actually there's times where you need to put in the stronger player at this point. And too many crews are just putting in like probably their 4th or 5th strongest player, hoping that they'll mop up them stocks. And I think this weekend we kind of saw overall that it's not a good strategy. Saying that, we'll touch upon that in a bit. Rix, I did say before when I threw out there, could Scotland have done better here? Okay, or put up a more fight? You just kind of laughed at it. What were your thoughts there?
To be honest, if Amza went in after Yappy, I don't think this would have looked different. Like, there's no way that Renzo, just because Renzo performed that well, it looked like that. But if Amza went in earlier, it would have looked the same. Like, I just can't see different way.
Yeah, we actually discussed on who to send in after Renzo, and we said, well, fuck it, there like stocks matter here, and like the way that these pools are set up, I really expect quite a lot of ties actually. So I think the stock tiebreaker will come up more than once. So we decided to keep as many stocks as we can, put in Amsa, just get him to play, because we forced him to come, and we said, well, we don't want you to be here for nothing, so at least you can play like 2 stocks.
I think that's from the Dutch point of view, but if you look at the Scottish team and you think about how they could have sent players differently, if Shifting Shadows had gotten to play Renzo, it could have gone different.
Yeah,
That's true.
If Fuzziness had shown up at all, it could have gone different. And I'm not saying this to blame him, but like I know he had a bad experience this weekend. He was ill. I'll take it at like face value, whatever.
Yeah, he got locked into Falco.
Yeah, that felt a bit of a cop out to me. Like, I'm not feeling great. I don't want to play my Fox or Marth in case I kind of don't do particularly well. At least I've got the Falco excuse.
And then
now it's go Falco excuse. Yeah.
Who else is on their rooster? So who else could they have sent in instead of Fuzziness because he's ill?
I'll put up the crews from my side.
I think Glykit's also a Falco, but he's actually a Falco main and is a lot more patient. And probably still would have lost to Renzo, to be honest. But given the state Fuzzy says he was in, I doubt it could have been as bad as getting 1 stock. You know, like chances are he'd have got 2 stocks.
from experience playing Glykit basically every other week in the French weekly, no. Glykit hates the Marth matchup. He doesn't understand anything about it. Like admittedly, from his own mouth. I'm quoting.
Yeah.
And I do not think he would have had the confidence to talk to his team and be like, "Yeah, I'll take on Renzo right now."
Okay, I'll hold my hands up there. That's savage, Jesus.
That's from him. I'm just quoting.
Okay, I think I'm going to maybe call it there on, I believe, I can't quite say, was it 11-0 thrashing by Netherlands?
11-0, yeah.
Yeah, 11-0.
Anything over 10 stocks is a thrashing.
Yeah, it is. I reckon R2 we put it there as the line. Anything over 10 is the thrashing, and that was a thrashing. And I hope the Scottish team come out a little bit, swing a bit harder next event at the upset. Let's move on to our next crew match review.
Oof.
And we're looking at Belgium versus Spain. You can see right now on the screen that we've got the squads. And if you look at Belgium, there are some pretty good players there. Faradit, Lunary, Ladder, Guacamole, Razor, Ramon. And Spain, very good overall team. Would like to point out Triff was absent here. And let's actually have a look at the breakdown of this crew match. And here we go. I'm going to throw it over this time. Maye, would you like to start me off here? Thoughts on this match?
Once again, the way the Belgium send their players doesn't make much sense to me. First of all, I don't understand why Razzle Ramon played Puff, because he's a Falcon main. He's been a Falcon main for 15 years.
Insight here. He was heavily hungover.
That's something I expect out of him, but he's usually hungover at tournaments and he still plays Falcon. So what's the excuse, you know? So I mean, one of the key points of the match was to be able to take on K12 before he had the, I think, matchup advantage versus Feridit or Dia, I guess was his tag this time around. I don't think you want to send your best player in a matchup he's uncomfortable against, especially K12 being top 2 DK players in Europe. So I don't understand how they planned the strategy, or if they just were like, yeah, let's just send in anyone and see how it goes. But it's a shame.
Did you just say Dia is Feridit?
No. I'm pretty sure. No,
like I would say this could have gone much better for Belgium if they actually sent in their good players. They missed Lunary, they missed Feridit, which are their 2 heavy hitters.
So it's worse than this. So it's so obviously Razor plays Jigs, which is like, I don't know what was happening there. Feridit supposedly had a wrist injury and pulled out of the entire event at the weekend. We didn't find that out till Sunday. Lunary's having laptop issues. Guacamole was driving home and updating his team and didn't make it in time. So you basically ended up having only Ladder who actually played his main and did well. Actually, I was pretty impressed with Ladder against Mara. Mara's what, second best at the moment.
and Oxford.
Yeah. So I just felt like, can I say this, everyone? I felt let down by Belgium. I'm going to say it. I felt, I know there's reasons there, but overall, I think Razor needs to take his team. I was going to say by the balls, but that's probably inappropriate. He needs to get a firm grasp of his team together, and we need to see the better players because Spain is arguably the weakest team in the top
They could have
four.
won this. They could have won this.
Yeah, especially on this month where Triff. I think this is the only month Triff can't make it. I think he's finished with university next for this event,
in February.
the next one, or March. Like this was the time to like get that win, right? If it was going to happen, and then you miss your 4 best players, basically.
Yeah.
One thing that I did think was a bit impressive. I don't even know like Dia, but his Fox was quite impressive against Oxard, because Oxard is a pretty good Sheik. And then taking the 2 stocks clean, like it showed that they still had a chance. But who's the crew captain again? It's Razor Ramon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when your crew captain plays his secondary puff, then what happens to the rest of the crew? Come on. Does the rest of the crew still believe?
It feels like there's not much gameplay to like analyze because there's just so many parts missing from the Belgian team. It's like
Mo, you're completely right. You're looking at a 7-0 win where you're missing 3 of their best players, and one of their best players plays Puff instead of Falcon. And like we've just said, this was their big chance, really. This was Spain probably the weakest of the top 4. You need 4th place or above to qualify. No Triff, and I think this is a big missed opportunity for Belgium. And I think unless anyone has anything else, I think we probably need to move on actually. And I'm just going to ask the Belgium team to sort themselves out. I want a better show. Well, you're going to have bad Daddy Kone on your backs. Okay, next we've got the Norwegian team against Italy. Looking at the Norwegian team, strong overall. They are missing Prisant and Vofa. I never know how you pronounce that name. Vofa. Okay. But overall, still really strong team with a lot of character diversity. Coming against the Italians, I think it's fair to say, to make everyone aware, Serrateur is banned at the moment for 4 months. So we don't have Serrateur involved. He has been replaced by Kola in the lineup. And we did see this matchup. And let's have a look at the breakdown of results. Okay, this is another quite, is it fair to say, lopsided result?
This was the worst. The worst result.
Yeah, so we've got the what I would point out here as well is there were some lag issues with this match, and it was one of the slower ones. But we are looking at an absolute thrashing, 14-0 to the Norwegian side. Let's start. Who's going to start on this one? Go on then, Mo. Would you like to start? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, like they only used 2 players, Svada and Sale, and as you said, there might be some connection issues, and especially with Sheik in the matchups we saw against Marth and Peach. If those players are kind of having a bit of lag, getting to grab a Sheik might not be that hard, and I felt like we saw Sale get a bunch of free grabs, in my opinion. So,
yeah,
and he dominated too hard.
Like I think that it would always be a shoe-in like for Norway, but I wouldn't have expected this hard. Like because like Managa, Mirko, Overlord, they're respectable players, but Sverre just showed up so hard, and Sila especially as well. Like,
is there anyone missing from the Italian team that you would have expected to play here in the top 10? In their squad, or is this pretty much what Italy have to offer over the coming months?
We're not gonna assume Avenger Angel still lives.
Yeah, I was thinking of him too.
I think Nick Strat too, to be honest. I think he's also a pretty good Faco.
Okay, so yeah, Nick Strat, they're missing Nick Strat.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah,
so
no, otherwise not. But you want to get like a little inside scoop, which was quite funny because I was present for all these crew matches as the crew runner. And I was there for the Norway crew, and Sverre had to play Kenshu, and this happened off stream because, well, during the production, people just forgot to turn on the cameras, etc., and the broadcasts. Sverre had to play Kenshu. And I said, Sverre, did you start already? But we lost him. A minute later, he comes back. I said, oh, did you play already? I said, yeah. I said, what happened? He said, I've almost far-stuck him. Within a minute, he forced Kenshu. And we couldn't even see it. That told me
That's a
so
shame.
much about how this whole crew battle was going to happen. And yeah, that was rough.
Are we worried about Italy in this pool now?
Yes. Well, I mean...
Remember, this is the pool that's got Sweden, England, Austria,
Finland.
Norway, Ireland, Finland. And then you've got Italy and...
Italy, Denmark, Portugal.
Denmark, Portugal. There you go. Yeah. I'm worried.
I think this, like Jim mentioned in the other crew battle about stock counts, if people have this team later in the event, some of the big teams might look at this crew as like, we can get our stock count score up on this team.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to put in like Professor Pro and Frenzy versus this team because we want to try and get through them with 2 players, sort of thing. Like, whereas otherwise you might have some people trying to give some newer players some experience just to get them used to crew battles because of the way the scoring works. I think Italy might see more thrashings like this, which is until Serato comes back, obviously he might be able to help out a bit, but other than that, it's not looking good for them.
Rix, you are a notable net player, participate in a lot of net play events. I know the Italians are a little bit more active, or they've become a more active scene since there was Slippy and net play. Do you have any insights on whether we're going to see a better performance from Italy going forward?
Gotta be honest, the last time I've really seen like the Italian player perform well, it was probably like a year ago before even Slippy. So I don't know. To be honest, I can't see it right now. They need Tour and Avenger Angel, or this won't be anything. I just can't see it.
So I know Avenger Angel is currently like inactive. He plays the odd friendly against Overlord. So Overlord, I think maybe get that call out to Avenger Angel and see what you can do. And then Italy, just like Belgium, Gambit's there. Let's see if you can step it up next month, at the end of this month now at the upset. Let's go into our third crew match, I think.
Wait, quick question before we move on. Assuming they manage to convince Avenger Angel, will he be allowed to take part in the cruise?
Okay, so every crew has 5 subs. 5 subs. Okay, so across the 12 months, you can make 5 changes. So that is as it sounds. That is to give flexibility to crews because some players go inactive, some become active from being inactive. So an example here would be with the Dutch. Maybe Nebby might become active at some point, and you would look at bringing Nebby in. Or maybe you've got a up and coming player who towards the latter half of this year is performing well, and you want to bring them into the crew. So we've given 5 subs. So there is the potential for Italy to bring him in if they so wished. Okay, next match. Oh, and this was one of my favorite matches, actually. Okay, we've got Portugal, and if we have a quick flutter down their squad list there, probably a lot of names we may or may not recognize. Austrians, there's a lot of old school players in there that I would hope we'd recognize. We have Glory, Clemens, Timmy, Aries, Fox128. And this match, if we have a look at its breakdown, was pretty close. Yep. It was a 2-0 victory to Austria overall. Let's start off with who hasn't gone first yet? R23, thoughts on this one?
This is way closer than anyone expected it to be because I think most people have not, like you said, the only Portuguese person I'd heard of before was Raiden, who I know is a good Falco, and he definitely did well in this. Austria didn't have their best team. I don't know why that is. But even with that, you wouldn't expect it to be only a 2-0. I think Austria really got away with this, and Portugal can be pretty proud of that. I would say they'd be proud of it, but I think they're probably annoyed that they didn't win. Is my general take.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. Even Austria's B crew, I would have expected to quite wash Portugal. And I was in the call with the Austrians, and they were quite scared and shook at the end. Like when they were playing Raiden against Steph Money at the end, with 2 stocks against 4, and they were like, I kind of hope he finishes it. But especially Paradox, they hoped for more, because Paradox is one of the better players on this team. Like in this lineup, I would say he's one of the best, maybe. But But he just lost with only 2 stocks taken against Raiden. Yeah, that's suddenly a disaster.
But to be fair, Omen did also 3 stock Sandy, or even wait, how many stocks did he get?
Omen went off.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Omen played amazing.
Omen carried basically.
So yeah, he was probably also like, I don't know. It's weird. Like one team with Raiden took a lot of stock, and the other one with Omen, and like it was completely even until the end.
I think one good thing to take away from this match is like you said, Alex, Portugal came in with basically nothing to lose. We didn't really give them much of a chance. Like looking at the A team from Austria, we figured last time that it was close to 0%, and they made it like believable by the end of it. Like it was doable, and for such a new cool scene, I hope they can use that as a motivating going forward. And if they maybe have more confidence and push themselves a little bit more, then they could do, like if they can do that against Austria, granted they're a B team, then it can probably be like maybe Denmark and Italy. And
I would say so. If you
I've gotten so much respect for him.
If you put this Portugal team up against the Italy that we just saw, I would give it to Portugal.
Yeah, right. And last week I would not have, basically. So
yeah, true. So
yeah, they're definitely a team that looks like they could like move up the seeding and the tiers in the next one.
Yeah.
Like if this ends up being, I think this is meant to be like a yearly event, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll help them out for like future events.
Yeah, so basically, if they can finish like 6th, or but 6th or 7th, they'll move up a tier because they're in tier 5 at the moment. So yeah, if they get someone, what I'd say, well, I've got 2 things to say on this. One, Portugal, I'm now a super fan. I said last show that I was a fan of the Portuguese anyway. I'm in their Discord. I don't know. I like the Portuguese vibe. But they're now my. Have any of you ever seen Cool Runnings?
Yeah.
Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings.
What was
UK
that?
stuff.
A film about a Jamaican bobsleigh team.
Oh yeah, I have actually.
Yeah, you've got the Jamaican bobsleigh.
Yeah, I have.
Portugal are like my Cool Runnings. They're like, I
know what you mean.
Yeah. The Twitch chat was on the side. By the end of the crew match, or the Twitch channel panel. Sorry, the Twitch chat. How it is. The Twitch chat were like there's huge people just posted about being Portuguese fans, and I'm with them. As I say, they're my Jamaican bobsleigh team, Cool Runnings Melee edition. My second thing here is Austria. I'm super. I'm gonna say I'm upset at you lot. All right, okay. No Timmy, no Clemens, no Aries here, no Glory. I don't know if this was a, Portugal aren't worth it.
I think that's the case. Yeah.
I don't like that though. I think that's disrespectful. I think I know the Portuguese were actually strategically planning to play those players and not to turn up. I don't know. I don't think that's very fair. I get that there's going to be 1 or 2 can't for various reasons. That's why you've got a squad of 10. But for all of them not to turn up, I don't know. I just hope that as time goes on, upset, we're going to see their full team.
I think also, Kone, one of the parts there may have been a little bit of communication between that. The crew captain might not realize that the stock count is important. That's mostly on them for not reading the document.
Yeah, it is.
And also the fact that you're going to be in a call and together, etc., where it's just like, well, it's valuable to just have all your good players there as well to support everyone.
Yeah, I did hear some of the Austrian players didn't want to join Discord as well, which I think is again, you should be there to support your teams. Yeah. Should we move on to the next one then?
Sure.
Basically, Austria saw it out. That's the message. Okay, then Germany versus Wales. All right, then here we go. All right, we can have a little look at the squads there, and I think it's fair to say the Welsh team were already the underdogs in this matchup, and I was kind of praying a little bit that the Welsh team would be able to do something against the Germans, because there's some of those players in that Welsh team, I've got massive love for. And obviously, if you look down that list of the German team, that is a pretty damn impressive team overall. Result-wise, yeah, it was pretty lopsided in the end. I don't know if my eyesight is good enough to read this, but I believe it was 11-0 win to the Germans, which everybody means it was a
thrashing.
Oh,
sorry, I missed
it. Come on, everyone. So everyone, it was therefore a
Thrashing.
thrashing. Come on then, Rix. You're a German on the panel. Start us off here.
So Jim Olsen was right. I think he said like we probably only need 11 stocks or something to win against these.
I said 10.
10. I mean, we had 9, and we didn't even send in our best players. So do you want to know what our strategy was? We didn't have a strategy. We were just thinking like, who should we send in to play? Because later in like the high stakes crew matches, we won't send in these people. And for example, Vivi was gonna move to Japan in 2 months. That's why we said just go in, try to do your best. And then we had Fortilt and Kese just close it out. There was no real chance for them, to be honest. I think especially if Nikki, Kinzo, and me would play, then I think we could have gotten that with like 6 stocks or something. I don't know. But
okay, you're pushing it.
Yeah, and I don't know.
I thought
the German team has an embarrassment of riches. Basically, everyone on the German team, you could have put in the worst German team, and I think it would have still been like an 8 stock at minimum. Like there was just no chance for Wales here, especially where they're missing Sechi and Isdar moved to England. So maybe if Sechi, maybe like looking forward, maybe if Sechi shows up later in the circuit, they could have some close games. But I'm not feeling very good for Wales with this team. Sorry, guys.
Do we have any insight as to whether Sechi is planning on?
Not at the moment. So Sechi has internet issues where he lives as a student. I believe just he's not able to play. That's why you haven't seen him compete online. Since the Slippy era. Am I fair in saying from watching this crew match, and now that they were seeded, I think higher than we kind of. Yeah, we talked about this last show about maybe the seeding for Wales was not that accurate once we found out Sechi wasn't taking part and Isdar had moved. After seeing this performance, I think we might have a call here that Wales have potentially won, if not the weakest team overall in crews.
There's a couple of players that are improving quickly, and maybe later in the year they might be able to take some sets off of some of the other weak teams in the group. I can't remember exactly which group.
Oh, they've got Pool A, so the matchups they'd be looking to win, I guess, would be Belgium, Scotland, and Greece. We haven't seen Greece yet. And then the other one would be Switzerland. But after Switzerland's performance of the weekend, I think Switzerland's, out.
Yeah. I think the only, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong there. And I think the only crew they can stand a chance against is Greece, probably. Just based
I'd give them a shot for Belgium.
If Belgium shut over like they were this weekend, then I think
Belgium doable for sure.
What Artifi, you were talking about players who are getting better. Who were those players?
So Coral is fairly new, and he's definitely getting a lot better, a lot quickly. The Falco and the EUO has been around for a long time and is like one of those players who's slowly sort of putting in better and better results and getting better and better wins. So these players could drag. I think they could do well versus some players for sure.
Yeah, I know Bo is on their squad as well, who's getting better and supposedly slept in, who actually is potentially their best player, potentially. So
he's beaten me, so probably yes.
Yeah, so it's a shame. So again, Wales, call out to yourselves. Hopefully we see a better performance at the end of this month. This was a tough opener, to be fair, for them, though. And maybe it's a bit too early to kind of judge them on just a matchup against Germany, who are potentially the best team. Although Jim might
be the best team in the whole circuit.
No, I'm going to give it they're the better team in this pool, I would say.
Okay, interesting. Right, let's go on to the next one then. And I think this is where things get a little bit spicier. We're going into the last 3 crew matches. And this one, we should be looking at Switzerland versus France. Maye participated in this one. And, this one, I think, went a little bit closer, maybe, than the French expected. I don't know if that's true, Maye. It was 5-0 to the French. What's your thoughts on it?
Nah, I don't think it went closer. I think we expected a close match.
Okay.
I think I gave it like a 6-4 or like 55-45
you did.
rating last time. I think Raul performed super well, and the fact that he was able, the entire key to winning this match was to take out Dryden without wasting too many stocks, because it's still Luigi with explosive power. Sometimes he can wear you down mentally. In crews in particular, you don't have like multiple games to chill and adapt, and then he can destroy you really fast. So that was the one thing we had to avoid, and we avoided it. Shalom, he came in a bit shaky, managed to recenter himself, and yeah, basically that's how we won, I think.
Can we pull up the results for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think this is one of the matchups where, when we're talking about that idea of playing one of your better players quite early on, and Switzerland did that gamble. And I think this is an example of it not going as well as you wanted. And Maya, you're right. You needed Jar to go on a roll here, and Raul just kind of stopped it. And I think that really shifted momentum towards France.
Yeah, but I think we didn't. That was the whole plan, actually. We wanted to bait out Ja, because who else is going to stop Raul? Because if you don't really stop him like properly, he might just snowball on the entire crew. Like if you send in a Falco, I mean, could go either way, but not really. And if you send in Ravio, for instance, could get force locked, right? So
I think the choice from Switzerland with starting with Kone, who was the weakest player on this team, in my opinion, is a tactical mistake, right? Because you just give up the counter pick advantage immediately. You're down 4 stocks down the drain, or 3 stocks in this case.
So I don't think that was their original plan. So originally it was meant to be Nero or Nero against Sia, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then Sia had major. I saw his ping test. It was basically like perfect. Then you just have the odd spike.
Yeah,
I really hope that doesn't mean we don't get to see him play in future crew matches, Maya.
Yeah, I wanted to, like, Sia and Switzerland have history, so we really wanted him first. Like, it wasn't about strategy, it was about sending a message. And we didn't get a chance to do that, so that's disappointing for all of us. But yeah, I think we rebounded better. Like, we had to repick first players.
Yeah.
And the choice of sending Kone, huge gamble. Maybe they thought, it's a Fox Tito, few grabs, anything can happen, couple shines.
Yeah. But it was basically going from their second best player to their worst player out of the 5 that they used. So
yeah.
I think they should have stayed with Nero first. Like that's quite safe. It's one of your stronger players. He's not going to get rolled over. Like even if Maye came in, I think it would have still took 2 or 3 stocks.
Yeah, probably. And I think like last time Raul and Nero played, I'm pretty sure it was a 3-2 last stock. But it was offline, so it was like a year and a half ago probably. But even then, like they have history of it being very close.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what they expected with that pick, and I guess the strategy wasn't there for them.
Do we mention that Maye took 7 stocks, or do we just ignore it?
We don't have to.
I feel like starting out with Fox or Falco would be like the all right choice, but yeah, as you said, Jim, sending in Jariden immediately when France had the counter pick advantage. Like Luigi is a character that can be pretty much exploited with this right matchup.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I think one way I could explain it is that maybe they expected Tech to come first, right? To match up against Jariden. And then maybe you send in a weaker Fox player than Nero, but with a matchup advantage to maybe create an upset and snowball out of it. I don't know. That's the one explanation I have for it.
What was the silo pick at the end, Maya, instead of closing out with someone else like Tech?
I think we weren't too sure that Nero would not show up for real and beat Tech, and then leave our latest player with more of a mental burden, And we figured if anyone can handle that out of the people we have left, that would be Tech. So let's keep him for last, not to save stocks, but to make sure the win is guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because he would be able to handle, the pressure, probably.
Smart stuff.
Yeah.
I would say that this was a really enjoyable match to watch, and I think Switzerland have, from watching this, I think they've got a good chance of potentially getting out of this pool. Actually, I think Switzerland-Spain is going to be interesting when that happens, and that could potentially be a big decider here. Obviously, depending if Triff plays or not. But yeah, I enjoyed this, and I think we should move on to the second last matchup, which is going to be, I believe, Ireland against Sweden. Let me just get myself sorted.
Yep.
And this was, in the end, a very close victory for the Swedes, and probably maybe surprising to the panel based upon our previous conversation, which I think most of us were leaning quite heavily towards Sweden. It was just a 3-0 win for the Swedes, okay? Mo, do you want to start us off here? Thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I actually I voted for Ireland.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
It wasn't that close.
Was it
Yeah.
not? I did as well, so I take it back. It was a 50-50 split. Bad me.
But yeah, I feel like Ireland really. I was super surprised because Ireland, when I look at the team, I mostly just recognize Mint, Maxi, and like Verdant. But they started out with a player, Luan, who was really surprising, played really well against Red Blaze, and also just a nice pick with Fox, just a versatile matchup. Like
It was a shocking start.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Shocking start.
I was also super surprised by Humpe afterwards doing so well. So
Yeah,
yes. I don't know. I'm gonna throw that to R23. So what are your thoughts here? I know we spoke about this because we had like a team viewing party, I guess, going on.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the so Luan basically does something we don't expect, which is to beat Red Blaze. And Red Blaze is a phenomenal Marth, one of the better Marths in Europe. He's one of our best coaches at Kone's Academy. And a really, really, really good, solid start here for Swedes to pick him. And then Luan does brilliantly, okay? Beats him, which is a massive surprise, puts Ireland on the front foot. And then we get Humpe. Humpe takes the stock from Luan, that's fine. And then we get the choice. And I think, I'm going to give it to you, R23, this was a big, big, important decision here.
Yeah, so this is what I was trying to say on the first crew battle as well, where they sort of tried to maybe... I'm not sure if they don't realize how good Humpe is. I think that was the main thing. And they were trying to like, okay, we can just do a puff versus this Falco, and it will probably be a free. We'll probably get free. Worst case scenario, the Falco will be left on one stock, but then Humpe just went off versus Verdant. And then you look and then they put in Maxi straight away afterwards, and then you're sort of going, why not just put Maxi in straight away and just have I don't know how close that'd be. Humpe's amazing at the matchup as well, so maybe that wouldn't have worked out, but Verdant getting blown up like that was pretty bad, and then you're on the counter pick back foot, and some of these matches that you think should go a bit like they didn't really give Mint space to do what Mint was expected to do. I think it was just a bit too uphill for him at that point when he came in.
Yeah, I think one of the most important parts here, I was in this in a discussion with the Irish, actually. I was listening in, and this took a very long time, this counter pick. It was quite important. They also know this. So I think the guess was mostly like, okay, dude, if we just need Moxie to fix the other matches as well. We need Mint can do everything. We need Moxie to either take out Pipsqueak, Meaty, or Dady, Pipsqueak or Dady. But I think it was strategically an error. Like Humpe is up there with Dady or something. So you should have taken out Humpe really quick, and maybe Verdant would be better suited for someone like Meaty.
Or Dady, right?
Or Dady, a bit slower matchup where the better player cannot overwhelm you as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the puff can just force trades the whole time, and the puff will, unless they really get bodied, the puff will probably get 2 stocks or 3 stocks from the Samus, just because of. I know there's a massive skill gap there between Dady and Verdant, really. But
did you guys believe when Mint went in with 2 stocks against Dady's 4? Did you believe?
I did. I thought there was a chance there. Ooh, Rix shook his head. Go on, Rix.
I don't know. I'm not sure how good Mint is against Samus. Do you guys know?
I don't know many Samus.
I don't know.
Have they ever played at Air? Dady and Mint?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. This is where I wish I had my little data spreadsheet up. Could have looked it up. I'll have it ready next time. But go on, Rix. Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused why they put in Leg after Maxi to finish out Pipsqueak stocks. I really think they should have put in Mint instead.
Yeah, that's the same thing again, right? It's like, I know you don't want to put in your best. A lot of teams want to hold their best player for last, right?
But you have to in this situation.
If you're down, you have to match Pipsqueak with your best player, just because he's like, he won the event, right? He's without a doubt a top 10, maybe top 5 player in Europe right now. Like you can't put in someone who's maybe top 20 on a UKPR. You know, like you need to be putting in your best there.
Yeah,
I could have had it with like some better picks. I think Lek's a good player, but there is a huge gulf in skill between him and Pipsqueak. No offense, but
I think this was actually a potential win for Ireland, which I think we would have been seen as an upset. It would have been an upset, but with how low Ireland are kind of seeded here compared to Sweden and in a very, very competitive group. I was really impressed with the Irish team overall. And I just feel like we've mentioned here, putting in the solid puff against a very, very experienced defensive Humpe. And then that Lek pick as well. I just think like a couple of tactical changes here, and you would have seen Dady mint 4 versus 4 stock potentially at the end. And at that point, it was potentially doable. Or it would have been, would have given Mint the confidence that he could do it. But yeah, I think maybe that Verdon pick, I think that was pivotal. One thing I would like to point out is Maxi went toe-to-toe here with Pip pretty well. I don't know, Maxi's been... Like, I know you can see the stock that, Maxi goes into that, with 3 stock. He takes 2, loses 3. So he's doing pretty well against Pip. And, a lot of people I've seen say stuff like Maxi obviously has been inactive for a while. So Maxi still has it, is my point here.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a very different one if Maxi took another one.
Yeah.
Then Lek could have killed Pipsqueak and went into the next match with 2 stocks. And that one stock that you can take is so big. Because then the next player can actually clean up. So
yeah, Meaty. There was the match between Meaty and Mint was crucial as well. Like because Meaty just about got 2 stocks, and I think if Mint has 3 stocks for that last game, again, it's a hugely different match versus Samus with 2 stocks is just too much to ask, really.
I think this match showed that we already know Pool B is the group of death, right? I think this match showed like how hard that pool is going to be because Ireland are clearly a threat to everyone in that pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like Mo said at the beginning, where we kind of just see Maxi and Mint there. I think now, like seeing that performance from Luan and just seeing how well Maxi and especially Mint can go, especially against a team like Sweden. So it's going to be interesting when they come up against Austria, Norway, Denmark, and then the likes of England as well and Finland. And seeing that, we mentioned England and Finland. Let's go into our last crew match.
Can I just point out one thing before we move on? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, I would like to have you guys' opinion on the timing of sending your puff player in that, do you really want to send a puff with equal stocks to the opponent? Like, does that make sense? Like, is puff not better with the stock lead in the first place because you get to rest more often? So I don't know if that's another reason why I think sending Verdant on 4 versus 4 stocks, right?
It's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I think it's good versus like a really good player where you're happy to trade stocks, or if you can match sort of skill match and you're like, okay, if Maxi just trades stocks with Pipsqueak, that's really good, right? But if it's against like a mid-level Fox who, just because of the way rest works, the Fox will probably still trade stocks anyway. I think then it's not worth it so much.
Yeah,
that's really weird with Cruz.
Last one then. The last match of the night for Cruz on Saturday. It was a bit of a lengthy day with Cruz. I think production will get a little bit slicker in time. But let's have a look at those.
Right.
Pardon?
This was also the most matches in one day. We're not going to have enough.
Oh, yeah. I think next time the idea would be that I think we have 6 or 7 for most rounds. There is one round due to Mo himself, hurting his shoulder and us tweaking things for him. Deary me, Mo, how dare you have shoulder surgery? I think we've got one round in region in April that has 8 as well. But I think the plan will be going forward for the audience who are listening is that we're probably going to run some of the crew matches simultaneously across multiple streams so that it kind of cuts down on the schedule for crews. But yeah, let's have a look at England and Finland. So squad-wise, very close, in my opinion, looking at the squads here. I think this is a tough match to call. And then let's look at the breakdown, which was a 5-0 victory for England. Okay, RT3, part of the English squad. Was this a more comfortable victory than expected?
I think it's probably about the scoreline you'd expect. I think...
some shakes the heads. Go on then.
I was basically just going to say because I think 5 is pretty close. I think maybe Finland could have got it a bit closer, but Frenzy just absolutely dominated this. I think if Frenzy hadn't have done as well as he did, if this crew battle had happened 2 months ago before Frenzy had sort of figured out solo battle, it could have gone completely differently. But he just picked up the whole team and just walked them through it basically.
I'm again confused why they put in Puff as first. Like, I just can't agree putting in Puff at first at all in a crew battle. Usually I would like try to wait for him to trade stocks either, or wait to the end to get him in. It's just like Puff is just a trade character, so it just doesn't make any sense to me.
But it's also sort of a safe pick because there's not really anything that can go wrong when you counter pick into a Puff, right? Like it's quite safe scout, especially when it's like I think the UK strat was just we're gonna move up in like better players, and we're saving the best players for the end. So
especially with the Finland crew where they only have, I think Mayhem is the only really good Fox. I think he might even be the only Fox on the crew that you would expect to play. It's unlikely that they'll put him first, and every other matchup, Kingu will probably, like he did here, just like trade stocks and do okay. So I think it's sort of like in most crew battles, I think that would be great, but I think as long as you're avoiding the Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, especially with Bayu. I was going to say with Bayu being on the team and him being a potential first pick, right? I think Bayu first pick would have made a lot of sense to me. So sending in a Puff to counter that, it's not that shocking to me specifically in this particular matchup.
Although England did have 2 Falcos here, like could have led off with Fat Tino instead and kept the jigs for elsewhere.
I think that also had to do with like logistics because I was there for the UK crew and I think half of them like came in during the first match. And I don't remember if Fatino came in early or late, but I know Kingu took on the role basically of organizing and crew captaining. So
it's really interesting because Kingu is obviously the youngest and the least experienced in this sort of crew like event, and it's a lot of pressure. So it's pretty impressive that he actually put himself in first as well.
He did sound the most excited about it in the in the call.
It's a good chance for him to like build experience as well for like maybe some of the tougher matches later in the crew in the.
What do we think of the Fat Tino call for
maybe
England?
He could be used as like an anchor position in future or something.
Yeah. What do we think about Fat Tino being included here? Like, there's other players in the England squad we could have seen. Like, you know, we've got R23 himself as a Sheik or Max as well. We've got Loster, Peach, who could have been used. We went Fat Tino here. Thoughts?
They were just not present, right?
Yeah, because the England team had chosen the team beforehand.
I think the rest was absent.
They were absent period, so it was only
no. It's because from what I could gather, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, R23, but from what I could gather, Frenzy already made it clear who the 5 starters were.
Yeah, we sort of chatted it through, like, because Finland do have sort of a clear top 5. It was sort of like here's who we're going to use versus Finland. These are the best ones, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just because they have like an obvious top 5 or top 6, and the composition, you know, they all play one character except for Mayhem. So I think that's what it was. And Fat Tino is historically pretty good versus Spaceys. He's got 1 or 2 wins on Frenzy, obviously in the before times, but he did not live up to expectations here, and definitely made the crew battle more exciting, but not what you wanted as an England fan at that point.
Yeah, because you were mentioning Loster, but I'm not sure who you would send Loster against, because Levingi is historically super strong against floaty characters.
Yeah, and
then
yeah.
So it's kind of rough to expect an upset out of him. And Alex, earlier you were saying that it went as expected in terms of score, but like you said, Frenzy had to bring it back from very far, because Fat Tino losing his 4 stocks to Levingi, that could have been horribly. That could have gone horribly wrong for England, right?
I think they sort of evened out, right? Like, if Fat Tino had done about as expected and Frenzy had done about as expected, I think nobody would be surprised.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, Frenzy had to go in so hard. It made everyone else look a bit worse.
And we can obviously point out here, Prof didn't play. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the score was 5-0, but you have to remember 4 of those stocks were Prof stocks.
Yeah, high value.
So those are 5 expensive stocks that you had left.
True.
I think this was if Frenzy plays like this, and like that was a bloody amazing performance. Like I was popping off in our air chat about like what a performance. But if England play like this, I think England are going to be very scary going forward.
Yeah, Isdar was very good. I think Isdar's like being undervalued on this as well. Like he took out Mardu's stock with 0 issues, and then took 4 stocks from Mayhem with, and then he had 1 left at the end. So he he only took 5 stocks, but I think if the crew battle had been more than 5 players versus 5, he could have definitely kept going as well. So
maybe you'll have some insight on that, because I don't know Istar very well mentally, but I know in terms of gameplay or like game plan, he has the strengths of Mewtwo King in terms of crew potential. He's very defensive, stable. His punish game is super solid. He can 0 to death pretty much anyone from anywhere, and that's more or less everything you want from someone in crews. I just don't know how mentally stable he can. Like, can he anchor himself going into a match with like high, I don't know, risk, you know?
Yeah, I think I would assume basically just because he's now obviously played for 3 different country crews, he probably isn't too as emotionally invested as someone like Prom. Feel as much personal like Aaron before would obviously feel a lot of personal responsibility, or VA in previous airs. I think he probably has the idea of like, I know how good I am. This is just a chance for me to play versus some top players and show them how good I am. And that in crews, that is extremely helpful.
Yeah, I think it's not just like one big factor that he has is he's just really confident. He knows he's incredible, and he is incredible. And he played so solid. And also during the call when he came in, he was like, "Yeah, I'm going in now, right? Okay, I'm going in." He just went in, just destroyed the guys. Crazy good guy.
I love Frenzy calling out Sweden on Twitter afterwards, and he just tweeted out saying, "Sweden, did you see this?" Something along those lines.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I'm coming for you. Something like that.
Nice.
That's what we need for crews. I loved it. Good lad, Elliot. And I think I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think England, Sweden's Air Online. I think that's what it is. Which, you know, just as the head TO for Air, I'm very excited about. I think now should we move on now that we've seen them all?
Yeah.
Sure.
And let's have a little bit of a chat. We've got a few bits and pieces to wrap up about crews before we finish off. I think it'd be nice to look at how well our predictions went, panelists. I know 2 of you weren't here, and I'm afraid, Rix, you're going to have to inherit Nikki's legacy. R2-3, you are inheriting the predictions of Unhaven. Let's have a look at them. Here we go, then. So,
what's going on, Mo? What's that?
Mo, what happened?
I don't know, man. I just bet on the underdog. I just want to see the upsets. I mean, Donkey Kong. What do you expect?
You and man in the heart.
You and Ross both went Scotland over Netherlands. Like,
yeah, that's the insight. The complete lack of insight there says so much.
Okay. I kind of took it on like my personal. The way my personal experience of playing against some of the Netherlands players and playing against some of the Scottish players, and like I'm super surprised by Renzo because last time I played him, it wasn't like.
It's a trash matchup. Donkey Kong beats Marv.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Marv is weird.
He does like 5-5.
I love how quick you were on that. But yeah, so let's have a look. In last place, Mo 5 points thus far. Jim only picking up 6.
Yeah, I mean, someone has to choose the other teams, right? It would be so boring if we all went the Maya way.
Yeah,
sure.
I just picked the better team every time. He just went for the no upset route. Very, very safe.
Sure, whatever you think. I went for France. I was not going to vote against myself. That's simple. And next time, I can tell you, Guus, I'll be voting for France against Netherlands.
Ooh, that's a dumb idea. All right.
Is it?
You're just telling him not to.
And then we'll see who predicts right.
We'll see it.
Yeah, so that's Maya taking the lead on 8 points. To be fair, Maya, they were the save bet.
Yeah, for sure.
And then joint second, myself, Nikki, who again is now Rix going forward. Rix, would you have gone for those picks there? 7 out of 8.
I think I would have taken the Maya road.
Right. You say that now. And Ross, so RT3 today. Alex, you would not have gone for Scotland.
No, pick Scotland there. I'm sorry.
So at the moment, our top panelist is Maya. We're so far Mo. So we'll see how the crew predictions go later in this month. Moving on, we would like obviously to champion the best performers in crews, and from now on we'll be having our MVP of the month, and we have 3 choices, 3 players from the performance in crews we would like to acknowledge, and then we're going to vote live as to who we think is the MVP of crews for Valhalla Online. Let's see the 3 choices. So we have Raiden as choice 1 for his impressive performance versus the Austrians. Frenzy for tearing up the Finns and making that comeback and cementing the win, I think, really for England. And Renzo for absolutely destroying the Scottish team, in particular, taking apart Time Muffin and Fuzziness. And they are our 3 potential MVPs of this month. We acknowledge all of them. You did a brilliant job, all 3. But let's do some voting now as a panel. Hands up if you think our MVP of the month is Raiden. Hands up if you think the MVP of the month is Frenzy.
I'm putting 2 hands up. Is that clear to me?
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, we'll do it, although we've got the clear word here. Anyone for Renzo? Okay. All right. Overall, clear winner here. But Raiden, okay, and Renzo, you did brilliant. Our winner, our MVP of the month, with that delightful slide that you win, is Frenzy. Let's give him a round of applause. Woo!
There's going to be like
Frenzy messed them up
on the website, on the same website when that goes up.
There, we will ask Poilon to do that. We're going to give him a cheeky little tweet as well. And anyone who's watching and who's participating in crews, if you do a awesome performance, you can have a delightful slide like that as well.
Important to realize this is not the most stocks taken. This is the person who impresses us most to what we would have expected.
It's like it's the quality of the stocks.
The value, right?
Those are expensive stocks.
Because all stocks are not equal, I think. And the ones he took were super worth it in that particular matchup. And
take those stocks.
Yeah.
Okay, and moving on. Couple last things to look at crews is just looking at the most stocks taken. So just like in football, where we have top goal scorers, we are collating data on the most stocks taken. Actually, shout out here to Exile, who collated this data for us. So these are our top 11 at the moment, from 1st to 7th position, and the amount of stocks that they took in the crews. We'll be adding to this as we go along. Any thoughts here, panel, before we move on?
2 of Norway in the top 3. That's insane.
Yeah, that is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Well, two of the Dutch team are also in the top 3, but I mean the Norway is.
I think we didn't mention it earlier, but Mara, took 9 stocks, which is impressive as well. Probably didn't really give that the attention it needed in the Belgian.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then lastly for crews, let's just have a little look at the up-and-coming crew matches at the end of this month at the Upset. Which are... here they are. So we've got round 2 matches. Again, at the Upset, if you haven't registered now, I did put out a tweet earlier yesterday, basically saying the first 100 to register get on my good list. I am collating a bad list for those who drop out last minute in DQ. Okay, round 2 matches. Pool A, France versus Netherlands. Belgium versus Greece. Scotland versus Wales. Pool B, Norway versus Portugal. Italy versus Finland, and Ireland versus Austria. These will be broadcast on BTS Smash and the last Saturday of this month at the Upset. And in the week leading up, we will be doing another same panel, okay, where we'll be actually previewing and predicting those matchups. For now, I think we'll segue our way into singles, unless anybody had anything else to mention.
I'm excited for Pool A matches. Pool B looks boring for next month, but these ones look all exciting.
Austria versus Ireland, though.
Yeah, Ireland versus Austria, to me, looks really hype.
I think there's closer matchups there. Remember, off round 1 matches were tier 1 seeded teams against tier 3 and tier 2 seeded teams against tier 4 or 5. From now on, there's none of that. It is random. And I think this month's predictions will be a lot harder than last month's. Okay, let's move on to singles then.
Yep.
And I'm just going to throw it out there for singles. Let's just kind of like, we can't review everything, obviously, and we don't want the stream to go on all night, but let's kind of pick up on some like main talking points. I think the first one that I would like to just throw out there, because I know one member of our panel did particularly well, and that is Jim and Mayhem. So some old school players, some boomers, okay, and all the circuit organizers did particularly well. Jim.
Yeah, it was really nice to participate again in such a way where I finally performed well. Lost a disgusting match in pools against yours truly right here.
It was a very, very 10 a.m. Fox play, I think.
But yeah, after that, I have to say I did think I get a really lucky bracket. If you look at all the other 9 places, like the matches that they had to play, I think they were quite a lot harder than what I had to do. I think I still played well, but like Mayhem had to beat Yapi, and I saw that. That was it was streamed actually. Mayhem versus Yapi was really a weird set because Yapi homie stalked him and lost the game after he got shine spiked at 0. It was so dumb. So Yapi.
And people think he grimed and cruise. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yapi.
Anyone who does that, there's no way.
Yeah, no. Was really fun and also makes me want to participate more. Like even as a TO, just like, all right, I'm gonna participate in the upset as well, and maybe the other one. For a brief moment in time, I was the number 1 in the circuit.
True.
I'll cherish the screenshot.
Right.
By the bracket.
Do we have any surprises from the bracket? So, having a look at the overall bracket, having a look at placements, any players, panelists that you just want to kind of shine the light on to champion a little bit before we move on to, we're going to look at top 8, but like before we get there, is there anyone we should mention?
I think we should mention Skybro. I think he did really good this time by beating Mae and almost beating me. I think it was 2-1 a set. Then Psylo and Kingu.
Yep.
And I think he got 13th or something. So that's pretty good for him, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that Skullbro?
Yeah,
Skullbro.
Yeah. You did awesome.
Yeah.
I think another very obvious one. Anyone who's been playing in the UK Netplay weeklies for a while will obviously know how good he is. But I think this was his first a big performance. Squeechu was really good. He looked decent versus Pipsqueak, who obviously won the event in the end. But him getting 25th as a Game & Watch is obviously a really good result. Definitely, probably one of the best low tier mains in Europe right now.
Yeah, and just to
mid tier, low tier, but yeah, him getting 25th is really good.
I'd like just to throw it out there that you've got Manio, Vivi, Maye, you've got Sfera, Loster. He's placed the same position as them, which is pretty crazy as a Game & Watch main.
Yep.
If I can shout out K12 for actually getting 33rd. He actually wrote to me afterwards when he was done with the tournament. And he told me that he had only played 10 games the last 2 years or so, and he didn't have a GameCube controller and has been practicing on an Xbox controller and so on. It's crazy. He got 33rd with his Donkey Kong practiced on the Xbox controller. So.
Did he seem motivated by his performance or by the circuit?
It's just crazy that this guy has been playing since 2004 and hasn't really played netplay and just comes back and destroys.
It would have been nice to see him against someone other than Shalom, who likes to play Donkey Kong a lot in friendlies. So I think he would not be the one to be surprised the most by the character. But if you send K12 against some other people from the bracket, he could have gone even deeper, I think. So.
For sure.
I think the final one we should shout out is I'm sorry, Rix. It's Nicholas.
No,
No, he did amazing. How far?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, how did that go?
The Marv Slayer, right?
How did that go, Rix?
All right. So, I mean, we have played, I think, last year 2 times, which I both won. But this time, he definitely stepped it up, kinda. I think I won the first game, he won the second, and I almost forced him the third game. So I was pretty confident in winning the set. And then he just turned it up again, and I just had no clue what to do against it. That's why I'm practicing against Youngling the whole time now.
I saw it. I saw Ed here. Youngling. Anyone want to play?
The problem is, who'd you get to play though outside of
Molten?
Yeah.
Molten, yeah, good point. Yeah, fair enough.
And Vur G was, I think, pronouncing that. But yeah, and Niklas too.
Yeah, Nick, that is amazing to finish there as Youngling. Crazy good to think that he was like so close to making top 8 at a 300+ person event. Like crazy. And it's awesome. Like for someone who's been playing since when did I start again? 2003. To see at the start, you'd go to tournaments and you'd be playing, I don't know, Kirby on Rainbow Ride. You know what I mean? It was that was where we're at, and then obviously diversity's dropped over time. But then you now to see Game and Watch still doing getting 25th, DK being there 33rd, seeing Youngling to make it to 9th. I want just to say, if you're watching this and that you are a lower tier main, don't give up on it. If that's who you enjoy playing, it is possible, especially in the EU scene. Anyway, do we have anyone else who want to shout out, or should we move on?
I only had one question for Maye. How was the Marth Discord after this tournament with Renzo, Vivi, and all the Marth losing to Niklas?
I think we all went to cry in our own little bedroom, and no one talks about it, and no one will ever talk about it. It's fine like that.
Manuel into Game and Watch, right?
Now, to be honest, I just went to Red Blaze and I told him to coach me, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do this shit." And I think Renzo, he's in the same kind of mood. And as far as VV and media are concerned, I'm not sure. Or Manuel.
All right.
This is a naughty question by me, and I'm sorry to take it from the optimistic level. I'm kind of going to drop it down a little bit. Was there anyone we felt underperformed or maybe let themselves down? I know it sounds a bit harsh, but is there anyone maybe we just need to chivvy up a little bit for a better performance going into the end of the month at the upset? I'll throw it out there.
I would say Woffa did pretty bad.
Yeah.
What against who did he lose again?
Veruem.
Against Veruem, but in winners, I think he lost pretty early in winners round 2 already or something. So definitely unexpected. Let me check who it was. Oh, he lost against Mayhem. Yeah.
So that shows that Mayhem had a proper good run.
Yeah, he did for sure.
Any other surprises in there?
Yeah, I did have one actually. I think I had Alan a little low actually. He lost to Madness, the Luigi.
All right, yeah.
So that sounds like
yeah.
You'd expect him to know the Luigi matchup, and Madness is not. I wouldn't say he's that much better than Alan. So I think Alan sort of busted out a little bit early.
I think that's an upset for sure. Knowing Madness.
Lost to Four Tilt as well, right? Who's really good.
How did Renzo do, spinning it the Dutch way? Look at Jim's face. He's like, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Alex, maybe you want to say something
about it. I think he must have messed up in pools, because I was looking at the bracket and I was like, why the fuck do I have to play winner?
He didn't make it out of pools. He actually lost to the 3rd and the 2nd seed. He was super depressed the whole day. He lost to both of them. Somehow still made it out through game win loss cheese. Then he made it out and he said, I deserve everything. I had to tank Niklas round 1, and then round 2 in losers or something. It was
losers round 1, because I got upset by ZD, a Falcon, who was really good. I seen some of his play before and knew he was good. But it was pretty close. And then I played Renzo, and it was also extremely close. But I was just like, that's a horrible losers round 1. And I had to play my losers round 2. It was really, we were in the fucking shark pool down there. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I'd expect him to do better at other events, and I don't know, if he got first in his pool, he'd probably have done a lot better. But
he would have taken out me. I got an easy bracket because Renzo actually lost in his pool. Otherwise, Renzo would have beaten me in winners. Probably.
But luckily, we have a whole year of events for players to come back to and back from previous results.
Oh yeah,
Let's,
actually, Ninjago fan mentioned one person who I just wanted to ask about is Lasse, because he went on a run as well. Does anyone know who Lasse or Lasse?
Loster?
No, not Lorster. Lasse. Lase.
Lase.
So he came pretty far. He almost he almost beat Scobro. He beat Lomokat. He beat Slim Shady.
I'm going to throw out there who are they?
I see Ninjago fan in the chat. So all right, I'll just leave it out there. Ninjago fan, if you can tell us a bit about it, I'll appreciate.
Oh yes, I've never heard of him.
Unranked Norwegian fag, and he's saying.
There's also Bose, who's from Norway, I believe.
Yeah.
Box player who got 33rd. I think he got a couple of good wins.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think it was like seeded low as well.
Yeah,
which
he
is
was. I don't think he was even like he's at the sort of point as the seeder where it's like he wasn't seeded. You know, once you get past a certain person, you're just like this guy. I've heard of this guy before. I'll put him about 120th out of these 300 people.
And he would his pool as well.
Yeah, I think he was like 4th seed in his pool and he won it. So obviously getting good value out of his Kone's Academy coaching.
Oh, that's why I was stroking my beard. That's where I was going with it. Thank you there, Alex. Yes, I believe he is being coached at Kone's Academy by our very own Ice. Yeah. So if you are interested, patreon.com/Kone's Academy. We got our very own few coaches here. We got Rick, Samore, and Maye. Right, let's move on. Let's have a look at the top 8 bracket and have a little discussion about that. We'll let it sink in there. All right. So before I go any further, just have a look at who we made top 8. So we got Leffen, Pipsqueak, Kinso, and Frenzy in the winner's side. Loser side, Jaw Ryden and Timmy. And also Mint and Mackenzie. So my first question is, we had a few dropouts last minute from the event. So the likes of Sharon, Nikki, Solar Battle. To be fair, Nikki was like midweek, but Sharon, Solar Battle, Prof were like, Friday, Saturday. How does this top 8 change if they're included, or does it not change?
I think the winner's side could be exactly the same. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those top 4 in the winner's side beating the people you just said. Obviously matchup depending, but the winner's side at European tournaments now is so stacked.
I think it depends on who they have to face, because Prof could very well lose to Mackenzie, like the round before, and not show up in top 8 at all, and I would not be shocked, honestly. So
I think interesting would be like where Solo Battle would end. It would depend on his seed very much as well. I think if he would go against Kinzo, he has a really good shot of beating him, Kinzo. Solo Battle against Pipsqueak, Solo Battle probably loses that. Against Frenzy would be a toss-up with Frenzy's favor, I think. So, I mean, the seeding would really, really depend on how this top bracket would look like. But I would expect Solo Battle to be in the top winner side, or for sure in losers top 8.
Does Nicky get in this mix?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident he'd get through in loser side.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like him and Mint could go either way. Maybe slight Nicky favor, even though Mint's maybe been a bit more active recently and would probably sneak it. I'm pretty sure Nicky would beat Timmy 9 times out of 10.
And Ryden as well, probably.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, gonna be honest.
No, Nicky Ryden, not sure.
I don't know. I've never seen him play against Luigi, if I think about it. So, did they ever play in bracket? I don't think so. This would be definitely interesting. There's another matchup that I would have really liked to see. Would be Leffen versus Frenzy. Like, I don't know. I think Frenzy would have gotten that. I'm gonna be honest.
Did we not get Leffen, Frenzy, and losers?
I think we did. Yeah, we did.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'd say it definitely happened, Rix.
Okay.
I just think what's exciting is if we think about names like Nikki, Solar Battle, and Prof. Like, if we see these added to what we saw last weekend, like at the end of this month and the upset, I think like things are going to get really exciting across this year. Like, yeah, I'm super excited in that sense. Let's go on to the big one though. Pip. Okay, Pip wins the tournament. Okay, he beats Leffen 3-0 at the end. And remember, Leffen absolutely destroyed everyone. Yeah, I know it's Leffen on a month-old box. But
frame one. But
pardon?
a frame one. You should
Oh,
get
yeah.
terminology right.
Whatever. It's all the same to me. I'm getting old. Okay?
I thought so.
I say the same thing. Frame one, okay, but he's only been playing on the frame one for a month, which is still impressive for how well Leffen does. But yeah, so Pip wins. So wait, who do we give this to? Is this like, do we give Pip like huge acknowledgements for winning this, or is this like a victory for Leffen overall for like basically nearly winning the tournament on a frame one? What do you think?
I think it's a little unfair to put it that way when Pip still managed to outperform everyone else as well. So like when you say Leffen outperformed everyone else, sure, but so did Pip. And he still beat Leffen in 2 sets. And frame one or not frame one, I think Leffen learned really, really fast. And what he did is simplify his game plan to a level where he could perform what he wanted to when he wanted to. So his mix-ups are not as intricate and he doesn't do as many things, but what he does do, he doesn't miss, really. So it's not like he's messing up because of it. Maybe under like high stress situations, he's not going to have the muscle memory to rely on. But Leffen is so composed usually, and I don't think that's too much of an issue for him. I would say he's still relevant. To me, it is relevant.
Definitely. Yeah, like him beating Leffen and Leffen just playing on box. Leffen on box or frame one is still
frame
a player.
one. Come on, Mo, it's a frame one.
But that's still like Leffen on frame one is still a player that 3-0s Kinso and Frenzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have to consider that Pipsqueak, I think, played. What was this tournament? I think it was a month ago. He played 2-1. He lost 2-1 against Leffen, even though he was playing on controller. So I'm not sure. I think Pipsqueak is already on the level, not completely on the level, but he's definitely close to Leffen now.
And I think like the one part from Pipsqueak that was super impressive is getting 3-0'd in the first winner set into then 3-0ing him back. I think that was super impressive. Like not only did Leffen beat Kinzo and Frenzy, but he also actually beat Pipsqueak. So Pipsqueak actually beat Leffen, who beat himself, which is crazy.
I wonder if that's not even almost better. Like 'cause he got destroyed in the first set, right? And then you entered that stage where you're like, yeah, I mean, what worse could happen, at this point? Because like if you lose a 3-2 last donk, last hit on first set, then you're mentally drained. If you get destroyed, you don't really have time to feel it, honestly. And then maybe it's easier to reset and try your best again. I don't know. I can see it go either way.
I think also...
Yeah, go on. Sorry, RT3.
So many times we've had Leffen, handicapped Leffen, that either via characters normally beat top European players without even, like, he's beaten Prof with his Mewtwo, Triff with his Marth. His Sheik's come out so many times. Like, his Sheik made Mackenzie look... I know Mackenzie's maybe not quite on the level of those previous two, but made, like, his Sheik took apart Mackenzie. So I think beating handicapped Leffen is still, like, a huge result.
And he also beat Frenzy, by the way. It's like...
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, he demolished Frenzy. Frenzy's looked better against him when Leffen's playing a GameCube controller before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So I think we're all in agreement. Sorry, Maya. I think we're all in agreement here that this is hats off to Pip, and then this is a excellent performance and one that I think really does like. Where do we put Pip now? Is he in that top 10 area? Is he now top 5? It's interesting to actually place him.
Europe or world?
In Europe, yeah.
He's always there.
Yeah, top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I know, but he's moved into top. What I'm saying is, like, he had moved into top 10, but now he's in top 5. But where do you place him now in that top 5? Third? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Rex. Yeah.
Below, we don't count Armada, right? He's 0.
No.
Armada, yeah.
Yeah, Armada's out. But is he
above Ice then?
Yeah, I think so.
100%.
Above Prof, above Amsa?
I think Triff is still better, but
yeah.
So this is a good segue in like the sort of a segment regarding old versus new, right? Like the old guard always keeping the top, Triff, Amsa, Prof, like the trifecta.
Yeah.
But now we have all these new players, with Pipsqueak being now the prime example of sort of breaking that. And that's why I'm sad none of the old guys played here, like Prof, Triff, and Amsa. I hope we see them next tournament and we can actually look at the results. But yeah, so you have Pipsqueak. He already beat Amsa last time for the first time, but then afterwards, I think he beat him again. I don't remember for sure. But he definitely has beaten Amsa. He's beaten Pipsqueak, has been Solo Battle, also one of the new guys.
Prof.
Pipsqueak did not beat Triff's Peach.
Yeah.
Not yet, no.
That's
It was close, right? It happened
getting
a couple
closer.
times. Yeah.
So that's the gatekeeper, in my opinion. As long as you don't beat Triff's Peach, there's no.
But I think there's starting to be a bit of a swing, which is what you're getting at here, Jim, where we kind of had that established block of like Triff, Amsa, and Prof, and obviously Triff is still like the upper end of that. But there's this kind of like feel now in EU events where you've got the likes of you've got Kinso, you've got Pip, obviously. And I know Frenzy's old school now, really, but like he's kind of really cemented himself. Not old school, but you know he's been playing for a while now.
Yeah,
but I
years
see him
ago.
more as that new block, like in a way. So I feel like there's a definite like large swing going on in the EU community. And I think by the end of this year, we might kind of see quite a permanent change in that kind of like upper top 7 level of EU Smash.
Yeah, I think netplay definitely accelerated that. Like the whole you only netplay, and those old guys I know. The like a funny quote from Prof while he was playing in Cruise. He said, "You make me waste my league grind for this." He wasn't playing netplay. He's playing league. This guy isn't practicing. Amsa is moving. He's getting old. Get like job, car, house, whatever. And Triff, yeah, he's finishing up his studies. I think he's still going to be the top dog.
Yeah. I'm just excited to see if because we're going to have a website where we'll have rankings on there, and we're going to have an ELO ratings as well alongside it. So it'll be circuit points and ELO ratings, which will be great for all players to see how well they're doing from one level, from one event to another. But I am excited to see, like, by the end of the year, what does that top 10 actually look like? Because I think the last sort of 3, 4, 5 years of EU Smash is going to look very different by the end of this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a really cool idea as well. Like the ELO stuff. I mean, don't take the rankings too seriously, guys. It's always have to say that.
But still get motivated by it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, it's like Smash ranking EU. Like back in.
Okay, I think we should potentially wrap up. I think we're going to maybe have a look at a few adverts and a few trailers before we finish. But before we do that, I will say thank you very much to our panelists. Let's go in order. Thank you very much, Maye.
Thank you for having me.
Been a pleasure. Thank you very much again, Jim Morrison.
Thank you. I'll stay this time.
Thank you, Rix.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Mo.
Thank you for having me.
And lastly, thank you very much for stepping in today, R23.
Thanks very much. Hopefully, see you next time.
And we will be doing another show in the week leading up to the upset. Let's roll some adverts, please.
That is disgusting. What the fuck?
All right, then February the 27th and the 28th is our next same circuit event, the Upset, hosted by Pylon Software. Please check out their website, by the way, where they've got some awesome tees that you can purchase, okay, repping their sponsored players such as Mackenzie, Charlon, and Triff, Maye, and others. Other than that, you just saw that fantastic moonwalking frog. I am absolutely delighted that we learned recently from today's tweets from Pylon Software that the frog survived the crash. Okay, and brilliant news, everyone. Pylon is going to be doing an actual contest. I can't give away the prize yet, but it's a moonwalking contest. There's going to be sending a video clip of you moonwalking, but it has to be like the frog, okay? Look out for that on Twitter soon. Other than that, I would like to just pitch, as I always do, Kone's Academy. If you haven't heard of Kone's Academy yet, it is run by my delightful self. We have, at the moment, I believe, 17 coaches, okay, that you can choose from. You can check it out on Patreon/Kone's Academy. And also, you can follow the Academy Twitter at Kone's Academy, which also includes my very own thought on the happenings of the scene. Kone's Academy, there is a varied amount of prices to choose from in terms of 17 coaches, from as little as €10 a month upwards. We have some awesome new coaches. LSD, okay, who recently made Alston Melee's top 10 video this week of top 10 unranked players. Okay, he's now coaching for the academy. We've got Ryobeat, one of the best pitchers in the world, and we've got Zamu, another top 100 player, all coaching for the academy from 17 to 21 euros a month. Super value for money to have top 100 players, okay, coaching you. Other than that, okay, if you can't afford it, for only €5 a month, you can watch all lessons live and also access our VOD library. We have, I think now 110, it's about 105 students. So that's 105 new lessons a month you can watch live. As well as that, you can access the VOD library, which is getting ridiculous now. We're getting towards 200 VODs, all accessible for only €5 a month. Why not sign up right now and make me smile? Other than that, let's go into the final trailer, which is our same circuit trailer. Let's get excited and sign up for the upset. And lastly, I would just like to thank Shays and Team Phoenix for all the work they've done on producing this event, this panel today, the previous panel, as well as their work over the weekend for Valhalla Online. Thank you, Shays. You can't hear him. I was hoping he'd pip and be like, "It's all right, Ed. I had a nice time." But anyway, he just said loads of nice things about me. All right, then. Night all. I'll see you later.
And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Kone. Kone's Academy is partnered with the S.A.M.E circuit, and for every circuit event, we'll be offering one-to-one coaching services as prizes.